In this video, I want to be comparing two of the most popular forms of self-massage tools that are out there. That's the foam roller and the trigger ball. I want to tell you about which one ultimately I prefer, but the pros and cons of each so that you can make an informed decision. So make sure you stay tuned. So thanks for checking out the channel. My name's John. I'm the head therapist here at Jon W Sports Injury. If you're new to our channel, it's great to have you on board. What we're looking to do here is help you to understand your body so you can strive forward to get rid of that pain, weakness or injury and ultimately hit your health and well-being goals. Now, in people looking to hit their health and well-being goals, it's very common for them to have nowadays at least one form of a self-massage tool. And two of the more common ones are foam rollers and trigger balls. So what I want to do is discuss each of these and why they may benefit you. Firstly, the foam roller, perhaps the classic, if you like, of self-massage tools. What do we know about this? Well, they tend to be this tube-like structure in shape. They can be flat or they can have these knobbles for different textures in order to get in. But what we're ultimately looking to do here is to place a foam roller under an area of soreness or discomfort and simply look to push our body weight down as we roll through. Now really what we want to be doing here is trying to locate the sore points where we get changes in tissue sensation, and then we can spend some more localized pressure in those areas. And so that can work really nicely, and studies have found this to be beneficial, and we're really trying to target both the muscle structures and also the surrounding structure of muscle, which we term fascia. So you may have heard the term myofascial release, and that is what we're looking to do with foam rollers. Now, do they work well? Yes, they can work well. I tend to find them to be quite helpful for covering large areas. It's more difficult to get into those small specific areas because of the sheer size of a foam roller. But if we want to tackle areas of large surface area, then foam rollers can work well. But that brings me on to our second bit of kit that I discussed, which is a trigger ball. Those of you who have followed my content before will know that ultimately I'm a big fan of these. Why am I such a big fan of these trigger balls? Well, firstly, they're inexpensive. What I have here is a lacrosse ball. This is probably my favorite structure for a trigger ball because it's very hard, but it has a small amount of give. Something like a hockey ball can work very well, but as a word of warning, they have no give, so they can be a little bit more brutal, but can do well in working in what we're trying to be achieving. Something like a golf ball has the same texture, but I find it to be a little bit smaller and harder to keep in position. Something like a tennis ball, unfortunately, I don't think is beneficial. It has too much give and ultimately won't be able to achieve the desired outcomes. But so what are we looking to do with these? Well, again, in some ways very similar, but what I like about this is we have a smaller surface area now. What does that allow us to do? It allows us to be more specific. So what we can look to do here, if I was working into something like my calf, is as I move around, locate that particular trigger point. Now, what is a trigger point? Well, really, that's a collection, a bundle of increased sensitivity around a type of muscle fiber. So if we imagine on the outside of my calf, I have this bundle of muscle fibers that have that increased sensitivity. What I want to be doing is to desensitize that and return them to their original state. So what I can look to do with this ball, once I locate that really sore point, is just to hold on that point. Now what we'll find after 30 seconds to a minute is that will start to desensitize. Then I would do these small micro movements here just to carry on trying to break that up. Now these balls can work really well in certain areas. You've seen me using it down the calf. One of my favorite areas to use it is around the glutes. The glutes are something that can really start to become quite sensitive. We can develop lots of trigger points in the area, and by simply sitting on the ball, as you can see I've done here, and moving myself around, I can really start to hit those trigger points. Same thing applies. After 30 seconds to a minute, I just allow that to desensitize, and then I look to repeat that process on other trigger points. And so that can be really helpful. Another area for great specificity is in the base of the foot. So what we term our plantar fascia. So if you've suffered plantar fasciitis, you'll know that's a soreness on the bottom of the foot, and the ball can work really well to get into those sore localized spots and release that tissue in order to prevent your pain. So there we have it. We have our foam roller and we have our trigger ball. There's a comparison between the two. Some of the pros about the foam roller are the fact that it has a large surface area to cover big muscle structures. But for me, some of the cons are that we can't get so specific with the foam roller. That's where the ball comes in. The increased specificity of the smaller surface area but dense structure allows you to do some really good specific myofascial work. My ultimate conclusion is if you can, both can work really nice in combination, using the foam roller first to warm up a particular area and then getting specific with the lacrosse ball or trigger ball. But if I had to choose one, those of, as I mentioned, who are regular watchers of this channel will know that I always lean towards the trigger ball for the reasons I've mentioned. But this was designed to be a comparison video. If you've used both, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let us know any experiences you've had and what you prefer and why, because I'm sure others would love to hear those views. And speaking of others, if this is the type of content that you want to be seeing and you've made it this far in the video, why not hit that thumbs up button, that like button, so that others will see this video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because I can then keep you updated on the next video. And speaking of the next video you should be watching, here's another video that will let you know all about our tips and advice to strive forward on your health, well-being and exercise journey. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video.